Black holes and consciousness. The spiritual truth behind the void. Part 1. Most people are terrified of black holes. But what if those cosmic voids are actually the universe's greatest teachers? Here's the thing. The same force that pulls stars apart might just be the key to understanding your own soul. The void that wakes you up. There's a wild, almost counterintuitive truth hiding in the darkest corners of the cosmos, and it has everything to do with who you truly are. Scientists spend billions of dollars studying black holes, yet mystics, sages, and masters of spirituality have been mapping this same territory for centuries using only the compass of consciousness. What the universe hides inside those swirling voids isn't just collapsed matter. It's a mirror of the deepest reality within every human soul. The person brave enough to look into that darkness without flinching is the one who walks away forever transformed. If someone feels a strange pull toward the unknown, toward silence, toward the void, that's not anxiety. That's a calling. Topic 1. The void is not empty, it's full. Most people run from emptiness. They fill every silence with noise, every pause with distraction, every moment of stillness with fear, because somewhere deep down they've been taught that the void means loss. But here's what the universe has been whispering across billions of light years. Black holes aren't empty. They are, in fact, the densest concentrations of energy in all of existence. What looks like nothing from the outside is actually everything compressed into one point of infinite gravity. That same paradox lives inside every person on a path of spiritual awakening. Eckhart Tolle describes the inner black hole not as a place of destruction, but as the formless essence of being, the origin from which all authentic consciousness emerges. When someone loses a relationship, a job, or an identity, they don't experience nothing. They brush up against the raw, unfiltered reality of their higher self, that formless core that was always there, hidden beneath the noise. Think of it like this. The Buddha sat under a tree and let everything fall away. What remained wasn't emptiness. It was the fullness of enlightenment. This is where personal development takes a radical turn. Society trains people to accumulate more things, more roles, more opinions, but spiritual growth often works in reverse. The soul doesn't expand by adding layers, it expands by shedding them. And what's waiting underneath all those layers? Something the universe has already known for 13.8 billion years. But understanding how to approach that inner void without being consumed by it, that's where the real journey begins. Topic 2. The event horizon, where your old self dies. Every black hole has an event horizon, the invisible threshold past which nothing, not even light, can escape. Cross it, and the old rules no longer apply. Mystics across traditions have described an eerily identical moment in deep spiritual practice, where the logic of the ego simply stops working. It's the moment someone meditates long enough, or grieves deeply enough, or surrenders completely enough, and something inside them crosses a point of no return. This isn't metaphor for the sake of poetry. From a Vajrayana Buddhist perspective, consciousness is understood as a continuum that is not bound by the physical body or by material space and time. When the structures of everyday reality begin to collapse, like they do at a black hole's event horizon, where the laws of physics themselves break down, what's revealed is the luminous nature of pure awareness. Tibetan masters call this the bardo of luminosity, a state where the soul encounters its true, undivided nature. A practical entry point is the book Waking Up by Sam Harris, or Pema Chodron's When Things Fall Apart. Both map exactly what it feels like to stand at that inner threshold without fleeing. The ego, that tireless narrator of your life story, gets spaghettified, stretched and pulled apart by the gravitational force of truth, just as matter is at a singularity. That process can feel like confusion, grief, or disorientation, but it's actually a sign of profound energetic hypersensitivity, a marker of someone whose consciousness is beginning to expand beyond its old container. The question isn't whether you'll reach that threshold. The question is what you'll do when you get there. Topic 3. Singularity as the higher self. At the very center of a black hole lies the singularity, a point of infinite density where all known dimensions collapse into one. No coordinates, no time, no separation. Physicists admit they don't know what happens there. Their equations break down completely. And isn't that fascinating? The most advanced scientific minds in human history hit a wall, and that wall looks remarkably like what the great mystics of every tradition have always described as the experience of the true self. In mystical cosmology, this singularity isn't a place of annihilation, it's the omega point, the divine source, the place where the soul realizes it was never separate from the universe to begin with. Non-duality teachers like Ramana Maharshi pointed seekers to the same interior zero point by simply asking, "Who is the one who is aware?" Keep asking that question long enough, and the boundaries of the personal self start to dissolve. What remains is not a smaller you, it's an infinitely larger one. A practical exercise. Spend 10 minutes daily in silence, not trying to stop thoughts, but simply asking, who is noticing these thoughts? This is one of the most direct portals to self-knowledge ever discovered. Quantum physics adds another stunning layer. The holographic principle suggests that all information, possibly including consciousness itself, is preserved on the surface of a black hole's event horizon, never truly destroyed. The universe, it seems, doesn't waste a single soul. Every experience, every wound, every moment of healing is encoded into the fabric of reality, and what's stored on that cosmic horizon might just be waiting to be retrieved by anyone willing to look inward with enough courage and stillness. Topic 4. Black holes as spiritual portals. Ancient cultures across the world, from the Mayans to the Egyptians to the Vedic seers, intuitively understood that certain points in the cosmos functioned as energetic portals, gateways between worlds, between states of being, between the ordinary and the divine. Modern astrophysics, without meaning to, has confirmed something remarkably similar. Some physicists theorize that black holes lead to wormholes, Einstein-Rosen bridges, that connect to entirely different regions of the universe, or even parallel realities. The universe, it turns out, is far less of a closed system than anyone thought. In the language of spirituality and mysticism, this is precisely how spiritual portals work. When someone enters a deep state of meditation, undergoes a near-death experience, or moves through an intense period of personal transformation, they often report emerging as a fundamentally different person, as though they passed through something and came out the other side. The old identity is gone. A new, more expanded consciousness has taken its place. Books like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle or Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda are essentially maps of those inner wormholes, guides for navigating the passage from the conditioned self to the awakened soul. What's extraordinary is that these portals aren't reserved for monks in Himalayan caves. They open in ordinary life all the time, in a moment of devastating loss, in a sudden flash of clarity at 3 a.m., in the inexplicable feeling that reality itself has shifted. These are not random events. They are invitations from the universe, perfectly timed, specifically designed for the soul that's ready to elevate and transform. And the most important skill anyone can develop isn't ignoring those moments. It's learning to recognize them. The transformation is already happening. The only choice is whether to resist it or to lean in. Apply this knowledge. Meditate, journal, sit with the darkness, ask the hard questions. Elevate your soul not by escaping the void, but by having the courage to dive straight into it. And if this message landed somewhere deep in you, do something about it. Subscribe to this channel, enable notifications, and keep showing up, because the universe has more to reveal, and the next lesson goes even deeper. Are you ready to stop running from your own singularity?